What's something that a friend/classmate did in high school that was seen as funny at the time, but you now realize was actually not okay? Had a kid in my year who'd had a surgery that left a nerve bundle in his neck exposed. If pressed, it would paralyze him. From memory, it was for spina bifida, and for some ungodly reason he told everyone. Certain boys took great pleasure in going downstairs behind him and pressing it, which completely paralyzed him for a few seconds, and he'd fall like a brick. Usually onto whoever was in front of him. So dangerous. There were a fair few teeth knocked out because of this, his and other people's. It happened so much that in his third year the school installed an elevator and you had to have a special key to use it. He got the only permanent issue key at that time. Kids are assholes, pantsing somebody in front of everybody. Is that even allowed anymore? That was so commonplace as a kid, wearing a mirror on your shoes to look up skirts. Even teachers thought it was funny that students occasionally did that. Our religion teacher went into the cupboard for supplies. She was quite strict and not liked, but now I'm an adult, I realize it doesn't excuse what happened next. The class clown snuck up and locked her in the cupboard. We all thought it was hilarious at the time, and we all left the class. She was in there for the rest of the class until another teacher found her in there crying an hour later. She took 2 weeks off after that. Few messed up kids in my primary school lit a teacher's car on fire just because she gave one of them failing grade on midterm. It wasn't one of the main teachers, she was mostly nice to students. Cops got involved, but don't think they got punished accordingly. I know one of them was in and out of juvie already, and were all around 13 to 14 years old. One was even in Nazi shit. I know later on those kids got all tangled in dealing in robberies, probably all went to jail at some point. It wasn't in high school, but we all found out in high school. A boy named Hendo, his last name is Henderson, so that was, / is his nickname, was drunk and told people how his brother once sucked his D in the bath. Well, this apparently happened. I'm not sure if he did actually confess to this or not. So everyone used to sing Hendo loves the bath, Hendo loves the bath, and it was constantly chanted at him. He was popular, so he'd get annoyed, but nothing really ever happened. Super effed up though. Living in the Netherlands. Classmate was showing on his phone a whole online shop he claimed to have with all kinds of drugs and weapons. We thought it was funny because we didn't take it too serious. He dropped out of school early and turned out to be a big drug dealer. Well, we could have known, I guess. In our school there was a teacher who had a mole, so of course the kids decided her nickname would now be Mole. She must have felt really hurt, as she eventually had the mole removed, leaving a little dent where it used to be. Did everyone then stop calling her names? Nope. They started calling her Hole instead. This was in elementary. My dad bought a brand new bike for me, and I rode it to the park, and these older kids came up to me and asked if one of them could take it for a test drive. I said okay, and about 10 seconds in, I see the guy riding my bike being pushed off and my bike being stolen right in front of me. The older kids helped me look for my stolen bike, but growing up I realized that they plotted this whole thing, and yeah, I basically gave my brand new bike away. My friend faked her own kidnapping. It was all fun and games until the police started chasing her kidnapper's van. This actually happened to me. A group of 3 kids that used to be my friends invited me to come hang out with them at the lake. I had kind of been outcast from the group because I wasn't cool enough, or whatever, so I was eager to get together with them. When I got there, they had apparently stolen all of my school books out of my locker and threw them all in the lake right in front of me. They laughed hysterically and just left without saying a word. The next day, when I went to confront them about it at school, one of them had collected a Ziploc bag full of all 3 of their clipped fingernails and toenails and threw them in my face. Some got in my mouth, some got in my eyes, some got in my ear. I broke down crying and gagging. Nobody faced any consequences other than me because I pushed the kid away from me and he fell into a teacher carrying coffee. I was suspended for 2 days and had to pay for all the books that they destroyed because I had no proof that they were the ones that did it. I didn't do well in school and had anger problems, so the teachers assumed that I was the one who did it and tried to blame the other kids. School is effing rough, man. A friend in my group had sex with another friend's mother, like literally. His mother was even somewhat open about it. We always gave both friends shit for it and thought it was hilarious at the time, but we were only about 16 or so. Had a classmate come in every so often with a bruise or small cut on her face or arm, but she was part of the punk scene, so I chalked it up to maybe hopping into mosh pits, although I had never heard her mention going to shows. At one point during our junior year of high school, she spoke to a few people sitting close, myself included, about going through the emancipation process of separating from her parents and living with a friend. It was also around this time that I noticed the bruises weren't occurring anymore. It took me a full 5 years to figure that one out. It's been a full 18 years since the incidents and she's doing much better. There was one kid in a group 3 years ahead of me in a religious school. He was super volatile and it made him easy to pick on. I used to laugh at the jokes and his reaction too, although I did a couple times tell him they only do that because of his reaction. He would flip the F out, scream and cry. Turned out he was being R'd and S'd by the youth group leader regularly. No wonder the kid had issues. I feel so bad for him now. I had a Spanish teacher, Ms. G. Edit. This was in Arizona. I found her full name in a yearbook because I had her sign mine in 2008. I'm not sure I should put her name out there, but I'm guessing she's retired now. She doesn't have a Facebook either. Students would lock her out of her classroom, unplug her computer, and they spread an awful rumor that she was having sex with another woman teacher in front of a classroom. She got locked out because a student came back from the restroom and said her car was hid in the parking lot. She ran out and then a kid locked her out. A few kids unlocked the door for her, but that was really sad. This teacher was so kind-hearted, soft, and an excellent Spanish teacher. It was really sad what students put the teachers through. Edit, I don't believe it was racially motivated. She's white, just a little older and frazzled looking at the time. I had this teacher whose breath was horrible. Like someone literally took a crap in her mouth. Horrible. Anyway, this one kid left a big bottle of mouthwash on her desk when she wasn't looking one day. The whole class was laughing. Then she turned around and saw it, and you could see her kind of die inside. She went on to tearfully explain to the class how she had some kind of an intestinal issue that she has been suffering with and that she realizes her breath is bad. Then she excused herself from the class for the remainder of the period. Now as a kid, I thought that was hilarious until she started to cry. And how she was able to continue teaching us monsters after that is not something I will ever understand. And if that had been my wife or mother, I would have encouraged her to quit. When I was in middle school, some kids spiked our family and consumer sciences teacher's chili with sleeping pills. I'm pretty sure someone told so she never ate it, but that could have ended really badly. A kid took another kid's towel after gym class shower. He used the other kid's towel to dry his ass. Put a shit stain on the towel 3 foot long. Lots of nervous laughter because we were glad it wasn't our towel. Sick bastard. I remember having what was called the man or mouse test. Basically, guys would take one of those big pink erasers and start going to work on their arms, and the one who lasted the longest was the real man. Plenty of bloody and scabbed up arms around school. I am not ashamed to say that I was a mouse because I never participated. There were plenty of other instances that ranged from questionable to outright dangerous. Bottle rockets being shot down the hallway, filling milk jugs with acetylene and lighting them up with a torch, damaging the brand new school bus with a shot put, etc. High school was basically a shit show. This kid's used to smell girl's seat right after she leaves. Once he smelled something funny and asked the other guys to smell get seat. This girl was called poop because of this guy. What a weird fetish. In grade 8, a so-called friend convinced a child with Down syndrome to come up to me and grope my balls. Over the years, I have come to realize just how screwed up that was. Every Friday there was school-wide Slap-Ass Friday, where everyone just decided that they have free reign to run around and slap everyone's butts all day. Doesn't matter who you were probably getting your booty popped on Fridays. I was an awkward loner and people would run up and slap my butt all the time. Doubt that would fly these days. A girl I rode horses with when I was in high school and she was in middle school told me that she and her mom watched porn together so they could make fun of the actors. She said this as if it was perfectly normal. She was not kidding. I thought it was weird and funny at the time, but now as an adult I am horrified. Unfortunately, the girl ended up getting pregnant as a sophomore in high school, and her mother was so proud of her and happy that she was going to be a hot, young grandmother. I'm not sure what happened to the girl after high school, so hopefully things worked out for her. I had a friend that was really good at unbuckling girls' bras from behind. He'd constantly do it, and it was supposed to be funny how fast and stealthy he was. We had a very attractive male student teacher when we were in high school, and the degree to which some of the girls were flirting with him got out of control. This guy was hot, tall, model looks and such, and what started with a bunch of girls openly gawking at him and agreeing he was sexy escalated. I remember feeling genuinely bad for this guy. He just wanted to teach. He seemed to really want to do a good job, but he ended up getting sexually harassed like crazy. In the end, I think he got transferred within the district to a middle school or something, and I remember the principal ranting and screaming about how inappropriate some of the girls had been. I had a well-loved teacher in high school who had some sort of intense aversion to glitter. So of course a bunch of the shithead seniors decided to prank him by dumping bags of glitter all around his classroom. The poor man actually dropped to the ground and started sobbing. A lot of the kids thought he was doing it to be dramatic or funny, but it was very clear, especially in retrospect, that he was having a full-blown panic attack. I hope those shithead kids learned something from that. So when I was in 7th grade, a classmate of mine used to tell everyone that he had sex with his younger cousin. Nobody used to believe him and thought that it was funny, but he used to say that he really did it. Now after we graduated high school, I met him and tried to tease him about that thing in front of some other classmates. I thought everyone would laugh, but they all turned serious, and apparently he was telling the truth. There was a guy in my high school who was kind of a douchebag. Call him Rodney. One day he pissed off the wrong dude, still not sure who, so the guy went into the locker room and pissed in Rodney's locker and then took a shit and stuffed Rodney's car keys into it. I laughed at the time, but looking back it was a bit much LOL. Dry humping each other in public was peak comedy at 15. I never thought it was funny, but a lot of classmates did. There was this one kid that would make fun of a weird girl for both of her parents dying in a car accident. Lots of people laughed, and I still think about it 16 years later. In the 5th grade, we had a random urinal and sink shitter. This kid would shit in the sinks and urinals in a couple of the boys' bathrooms for a few weeks. It got so bad that the staff/teachers had to take kids in groups at pre-designated times to go use the bathrooms while they waited outside. The kid was in my class and got caught because he was in my class and decided to shit in a urinal while in this group setting. He laughed hysterically the whole time and thought we would all think it was funny. I mean, we did think it was funny, but it was annoying we had to go in groups. He got suspended for a bit because of that, and then those incidents never happened again. There was a girl in my high school grade that would suck anyone's D from our grade. Just ask her at lunch, and she'll blow you in your car after school. Not even a big deal for anyone. She wasn't very popular with the other girls, putting a used condom on the lecturer's desk with a threatening note on the side. It was funny for the people involved, but everyone else was disgusted. The lecturer was naturally freaked out and refused to teach that class again. Freshman year of high school, someone left a shaving razor in the locker of a girl who had a light mustache. Can't imagine that helped her self-esteem at all. Reading all of these responses makes this quote I've heard resonate better. I have a lot of respect for junior high and high school teachers because they're dealing with some of the dumbest mother effers on the planet. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and checking out our other videos. Also follow us on our other social media accounts. Have a great day.